1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello, heroes. This is Cody from Comicsdown, and today I have a Move the Needle haul, and I just want to show you some of the stuff I got from the LCS earlier today. And I was just trying to clear out some of the books that I have in my pool box. I had some older stuff in there, and then some pulls from earlier in this week. The coffee. Essential. First off, we're going to start with, and I love this cover, I've always loved it ever since it came out. It's Amazing Spider-Girl number 0, and it's a cover swipe of Amazing Fantasy 15. And it's kind of silly because it's got Spider-Girl and she's holding her dad up, and he's actually reading the book that's on this cover. It's a never-ending thing. It's a forever thing. It's trippy, but it kind of goes into her origin story and kind of sets up the series. It's a very good book. Next up, I have a Danny O'Neil and Neil Adams Green Lantern and Green Arrow reprint of Snowbirds Don't Fly, and that is the classic Speedy is a heroin addict comic. And you always have all the answers, Green Arrow. Well, what's your answer to that? Oh no, my ward's a junkie. Ooh. Right? Oh God. Speedy's on the smack, and that's no good. But no, I mean, smack is horrible with the opioid crisis that's going on right now. Yeesh. And I speak from experience. Kids, don't do smack. It is horrible for you. Next up, I have Immortal Men number 2, which was basically just a continuation of the fight that was started in the first Immortal Men. And they kind of set up, laid out the characters, and kind of set up what they're trying to do with this storyline. Reload is a pretty cool character. He's kind of like a Moon Knight-ish assassin that can control time within his personal bubble. And he only has one bullet in each gun, and he can refire that bullet as many times as possible, which is really neat. Cool concept. Stray is the werewolf creature, and she's a genetically engineered werewolf person, I guess. I still do not know exactly what the significance to this kid is that they've been trying to rescue, though, and his power or anything. The Indian girl, I forget her name. Let me check that out real quick. But she's probably one of the most interesting characters on there. Where is it? They kind of lay it all out, I know that. What do we know? There's like the villainess, and she's like asking her henchmen, what do we know? For blah 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 blah. Oh, here it is. Her name's Timber. Timber! and she's got an axe, and she can alter her size, which is pretty cool. She's kind of like the old Indian that was on the Super Friends, or the old Justice League, Comanche Chief, and he would grow in size. And then they have another guy called Ghost Fist, which basically he's a ghost, and he can control the electricity in the air, and that's how he punches people. But these people have been alive for centuries, apparently. But other than that, it was a very well put together issue. Like I said, they were basically battling creatures, and you got to kind of get an introduction to a couple of the villains. One's kind of like this vampire guy. Another one's called Hunt, and he like tracks people. And then there's this chick that kind of looks like Marvel. This is the DC version of Hela, and she's trying to kill her brother, which is the Immortal Man. And this is the Immortal Man's super team. So it's a very interesting story, and I look forward to it. And this is the new Age of Heroes line that DC's putting out right now. And I really haven't had that many complaints about it. I haven't checked out Sideways. I've heard a lot of good things. People have said good things about that. Said he's kind of like Spider-Man or whatnot. But I have checked out The Terrifics. I like that book a lot. And then Damage. I love Damage. Just raw, just it's a adrenaline pumping kind of comic, kind of classic Hulk smash kind of stuff. And it's really cool. He only has like 1 hour to, do as much damage as he can. But now kind of, it's going to shape up that he could permanently be damaged, but it's a pretty interesting story also. And I can't wait till Challengers comes out, which is probably the next Age of Heroes story that I'm going to check out. There's a few others, Silencer, The Unexpected. The Unexpected seems more supernatural to me, which, it's cool, sort of, Doctor Strange-ish, but it just, I don't know, the couple of the characters just, I wasn't really getting into them. There's like the one chick, she has like a chaos engine, is basically she's been resurrected, they put this thing called a chaos engine in her heart or something, and and that's what the main crux of the story is. They're trying to get that. But other than that, it's a great story, and I highly recommend it. Next up, I have the second issue of Domino, and I got the first one mainly just to see how cringeworthy it was. I'm not the biggest fan of Gail Simone. She comes off a little too pushy with her politics sometimes. But, the first one was pretty cringeworthy. This one, it just takes off from where the last one ended, which, she was thrown out a glass window, and, oh God, is she going to hit the, the pavement and whatnot? Her luck's been taken away. And Spider-Man comes in and saves her, and, from that point on, she was the biggest stick in the mud. She was really mopey. After she was saved, she went back to her party, and they just, she's like, could not deal with, being normal. The next day, she actually had, to make herself feel better, she goes and beats up people. Which, I mean, she's a superhero, so that's kind of her thing, but she actually goes on a run with Amadeus Cho just to this one particular park because she knew that they would probably get mugged, so she could beat these people up. It's kind of sadistic. I kind of thought, but the art in it is pretty good. I love the cover. This is, I am a Domino fan. I've always liked Domino as a character, and I do love this cover. That whole Angel of Death kind of feel to it. But at the same time, it's still happy-go-lucky. But you got all the guns, and she's just like, yeah, I'm a badass, but it's a very well put together cover. Next up, I have New Mutants 3, and I'm not very sure if I'm going to continue with this. I know it's a limited series. I'm not sure if it's, 6 or 8 books, but it's getting worse. Dead Souls is just not doing it, man. This story is basically them, taking over a plane and killing the pilot and it crashing. It's very terroristic, I'm just saying. One of the New Mutants' prodigy, gives them a distress call, so Magic teleports them onto the plane while it's in mid-flight, and they don't even land inside the plane, they land on the wings, so they have to force their way inside the plane and decompress the plane, freaking everyone out. Of course, everyone on board is trying to attack them because they think they're freaking terrorists. They force their way into the cockpit. I mean, this is some really scary kind of writing, I'm really surprised that it got by. Well, I'm really not surprised that it got by the editors. I was reading Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's freaking Venom #1 last night, and on one page they had 2 extremely gross, typos, words missing, and then misspellings. It was one bubble, and then not even like 2 bubbles later, it was another big one, and it was just like, what are they doing up there at Marvel? And I really don't know what they're doing. They're probably playing patty cake in a safe room or something, but we gotta deal with what we get, right? Hashtag move the needle, hashtag Comicsgate. Oh yeah, and I want to give a shout out to DNC, Diversity in Comics. I'm glad you guys have finished the Kickstarter, the Indiegogo, and I wish you guys nothing but success. The next book I have is Astonishing X-Men, and be honest, I mainly got this just because it has Psylocke in a Deadpool mask. I'm not really even that big a fan of Deadpool, but I do love Psylocke. She's like one of my favorite female characters in the Marvel Universe. Psychic ninja. Like, are you kidding me? And she's like super hot. Hell yeah. But it was a very interesting story. They were facing this guy named Proteus, and he's like pure energy and stuff. So they had this, Psylocke and X are trying to attack him psychically, and then Wolverine, Gambit, Cable, and Rogue are trying to battle him physically. It was very interesting. It was actually finished. This issue is actually finishing up a storyline, so I think the number 12 goes on to another story. But other than that, I love the cover art. It's very beautiful. That is one thing about Marvel. They know how to make good covers. And and it's not the lack of talent over there. It's just it comes off as sometimes they're lazy in some aspects with stories, the storylines. They think if they they put a beautiful cover on something then that's a good comic. Well, there's no substance in some of this stuff, and that's what a lot of the Comicsgate community is railing against. Is not only are we paying customers that I think that we're just trying to give a little bit of input here and there, and they take gross offense to that because apparently it's extremely hard to write. You want to do some hard work, come to work with me for a day. I'll put you through your paces, But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell. Once again, I'm Cody, and this is Comicsdown, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Have a nice evening.